Hi everybody, here's Krystian from Teamworkcast.
And this is Nick from Teamworkcast. I mean Putty.
And this is Netrunning with Teamworkcast. We are on a tournament in Hiveworld, Cologne, which is a great local store in Cologne. This is a Netrunner tournament that took place on the 29th of March. And this is round 1. I'm mixing my cards. I'm on the left. I'm playing as a new identity called GRNDL. And my opponent is Markus. And he's on the right. Did I say left or right?
You're on the left.
I'm on the left and he's on the right, indeed.
Yes.
And he's playing as Kate from the standard Shaper identity from the core set.
Why do so many people play her?
She is very good. She has great economy because she gets the first hardware or software she installs every turn is 1 credit cheaper.
Was this tournament called Hack the Planet?
That would be great. That would be really great. But sadly, they don't have really names. It would be so awesome. Yes. So the new identity I'm using. Have you seen this, GRNDL?
GRNDL? I don't think so. What set is it from?
It is. I'm not really sure. I think it's from. I forgot. Anyway, it's an identity where I started with 10 monies.
10 money? Oh
yeah.
My god.
But the downside is that I also start with 1 bad publicity. So I'm kind of like a very evil corporation right now. And I'm playing a hedge fund, which gives me 9 monies, but it costs me 5.
So basically this is the corporation equivalent to... oh gosh, I can't remember her name. I just said it. Who's the runner that begins with 9 cards?
Oh, Andromeda.
Yeah.
A little bit like this. Yes, you have like this huge start, but you're not really very well at the end because the runner, due to the bad publicity, the runner is able to invest a lot of money in order to hack your ice and everything. So I'm installing some ice. I'm installing ice in front of my R&D, which is my deck, and I'm installing something right there in the open. Ooh. I have to say this is going to be a little bit of a low-level kind of game because I think we're both not very experienced players, me and Markus. But I think we are a great matchup because I think we began playing Netrunner around the same time. So Markus plays a data sucker, which is a cool thing that charges up with counters, and then he can use those counters to reduce the strength of ice, so he can melt down ice if he needs it.
So GRNDL comes out of fear and loathing.
Yes, indeed.
I also like that you begin with one bad publicity.
Yeah, that's the thing. The bad publicity is something that the runner can use. So he makes a dirty laundry run on my hand and scores a false lead, and even gets some money in addition to it. So off the bat, he gets 1 point. He is ahead, and I have to apologize for the glares of the cards. It is a false lead. I promise you guys.
So, for GRNDL and the personality that goes along with GRNDL, what is their general tactic? What's the flavor of their corporation?
So I really have to say that I will be struggling for some time in this game because the deck I'm playing, I'm not very familiar with it. I actually downloaded it from the internet, which I like to do because it kind of exposes me to different kind of strategies.
Spiked it.
Yeah, but I also, of course, as I learn the deck, I start modifying it and it becomes my own. So this deck is very much a rush deck.
Okay.
And that's something I learned. There's a difference between fast advance and rush.
So rush means that you want to win as fast as possible?
Well, both about winning fast as possible, but fast advance is about scoring cards out of hand. So you score agendas without the runner being able to run on them.
Yeah, and so the other way is you just have a bunch of low-level agendas and just score them quickly?
Yeah, sort of. Like, it's kind of difficult to understand. You kind of have to experience it, but you get out cards very quickly. You rely on very, very early ice. Okay. And you want to hold back the runner so he doesn't build up the programs to break your ice, so you can score the agendas before the runner sets up something. And so having a GRNDL which starts with so much money to work with at the beginning is really great for this kind of style. Yes, so I installed some stuff in my servers, another card right there, and he gets a sure gamble to get some monies. He already has 2 counters on data sucker tokens on his data sucker, and he makes a run.
It's our friend.
It's our friend Jackson Howard, and he trashes Jackson Howard. And then he plays a what is it again? Same old thing. It's kind of, sometimes hard to tell if it's same old thing or Katie. Maybe it's Katie. I think it's Katie after all. The thing is, the resolution on the camera is not so great, and both cards have very similar color. It's like teal and with some yellow. I think it's Katie Jones, so he can use her to get to charge her up with money, and then he can get that money with one extra click. So it's my turn again. I am playing something in front of my HQ because agendas has been stolen from HQ this way. And I'm playing yet another card, unprotected on the table, just right there.
This is, I mean, at this point, I guess as the runner, I would be like thinking that you're trying to bait me in some way.
Yeah, maybe one of the cards is actually a trap. But that's the thing about rushing. You kind of like also have lots of traps, and so you can kind of play. You can risk playing cards unprotected. Because and you kind of like want to discourage the runner of making runs on them. So, for example, now he's making run on one of those cards, and it is a snare. And the snare does 3 net damage, and it gives him one tag, which is a very, very effective thing.
So I have a question.
Yes.
For net damage, when the runner is damaged,
Yes.
they have to discard cards.
Yes.
So if you do net damage that's more than what the runner has in their hand, what happens?
He's going to die immediately.
Okay.
I also wanted to point out that he installed a first code breaker right there. It's a mimic. It's a code breaker with a fixed strength, but he has a data sucker to make up for it, and he can break sentries. Mm-hmm. So yes, that's actually something that Weyland does very well, doing a lot of damage, especially meat damage, to kill. Jinteki is good about net damage, and that card I just used was actually a Jinteki card. So yeah, a lot of Weyland decks especially are focused on killing the runner instead of winning with agendas. And I'm using Beanstalk Realities in order to get some additional money because I don't have enough money. As Weyland, you want to be filthy rich because you're an evil corporation that everybody hates. Ah, yes.
So, did you yell at this particular venue for using such a reflective surface?
I haven't actually noticed because my camera doesn't have a screen, so I don't actually see if it's glaring or not. But I'm actually working on a solution for this. Apparently, you can use polarizing filters to get rid of it. Sadly, there are not really good solutions for this for the GoPro, but I'm kind of like, I'm in a mood of building things.
Yeah.
And apparently my opponent is also in the mood for building things because he brought out a clone chip, which he can trash to get stuff out of his heap, which is his discard pile. So he can bring back things that have been destroyed, which is very annoying for me now, because of course, as I said, as a rush deck, I'm kind of trying to destroy his stuff to keep it at bay. And yeah, with the clone chip, destroying stuff will be more difficult for me. So I'm just icing up my HQ, and I'm playing a restructure, which gives me 5 monies. I'm super filthy rich right now. Look at this. Look at how filthy rich I am. I actually probably should start using those 5 credit coins.
You should, or you should go and buy. You should pimp out your Netrunner.
You mean tokens?
Yeah.
Nick, you will be you should look forward to the videos from a tournament I had because I experienced a lot of different players who had some really nice token solutions. So at this point, I'm starting to actually track his clicks. It's actually a very good thing to do, actually, because you kind of are more involved in what the corporation is doing. You're just not sitting there and twiddling with your thumbs. So he gets some cards, and he charges up Katie Jones. So he will be able to have some money at some point in the future. He also removed his tag in the meantime, which was a wise decision because I could have killed him. The thing is, if you have a tag, then Weyland has like cards that they can play if the runner has a tag, and they can use those cards to kill the runner immediately.
Cool.
So when playing against Weyland, you really don't want to have tags. Ah yes, playing more stuff unprotected. Look at me, having unprotected install intercourse.
The other thing that I think that you forgot about in one of your games is that if the runner is tagged, you can spend a click and 2 monies to trash resources.
This is absolutely true, and I'm discovering the value of this. This was actually a mistake in my previous games. I wanted to point out that I just advanced the card right there. It is actually protected with an ice, and it advanced, so there's a good chance that this is actually an agenda that I might be scoring. First agenda for me this game. If my opponent, if Markus, fails to run on this.
And you say that he's a newer player, right?
Well, he's as experienced as I am. I think we started playing at around the same time. I remember meeting him on my very first Netrunner meetup, local Netrunner meetup, and he just built his first deck back then. So I think he's slightly more experienced than I am.
I'm excited. I just met a bunch of people to play with in my town.
Excellent. This is the best way.
I just have no time to actually do anything.
Well, yes, indeed. So he brought out a self-modifying code, which is like a standard shaper way at this point. Clone chips and self-modifying codes. You can use them to get the kind of breaker you need at any given point. Ah, man, he makes a run on this, and he scores again. It's geothermal fracking.
Fracking? Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yes, I'm doing all the evil things. Look at me. I'm the most evil corporations in the world.
Living in Pennsylvania, I can tell you a bit about fracking.
Well, it's geothermal fracking. It's a different kind of fracking, all right? It's
fracking further down.
Yeah, it's fracking under the sea surface and whatever. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. But he scored 2 points, so he's at 3 points. I'm at 0 points. Not going too well for me.
You need to... I have yet to see you draw well.
Oh, maybe we're gonna see that in the next game. Let's see about that. There's going to be games where I draw very well, indeed. But no, as I said, I'm playing a bit slow for this deck. I wasn't very experienced at this point. I am getting lots of money though, so that's very good. I played another hedge fund right there.
Yeah, but if you don't have anything to spend your money on, it's... But I guess that, considering how much money you have, you'll be able to res ice until...
Well, that's yeah. He so the thing is, he didn't run on any of my servers, so I didn't have to res any ice. So that's one of the reasons why I have so much money. And the other thing is, if I have a lot of money, then there is actually a card I can use to give him a tag. If I have more money than he has. And then he runs on a second card that I installed right there, and it is yet another snare. So again, he has to drop 3 cards. Oh, some good cards there. Some good cards there. I got some test runs there, so he won't be able to get that many programs. And also he gets another tag. But he's already quite well set up. He already has one code breaker out there. And again, with a self-modifying code, he can just get another breaker from his deck. So he would be able to cover 2 of the 3 types of ice that one can have. It's my turn. I'm making a mandatory draw.
I just want to see you just drop like 4 cards right now and win the game. And you just walk away.
Yeah, done. I'm done. Just dropping my deck, walking away. I'm thinking a lot. This is a very different deck from the deck I was playing before. Before it was kind of like a fast advance, building huge ice walls, kind of like going to mid-late game and trying to and being able to survive there. This one is early to mid-game. The longer I stay in the game, the less chances I have to survive. Let me see. Maybe I will score finally something. Yes. I'm doing a new card, which is very cool. Well, not that new, but it's very cool. Anyway, it's called Power Shutdown. And basically the idea is that you put X cards from your deck in your graveyard or in your discard pile, in your archives. And then the runner has to destroy a program or a hardware with the cost of X. And I choose X0, so he had to get rid of his self-modifying code. And I install a card in my server, hoping that now that he cannot get a breaker from his library, I will be able to finally score an agenda. He installs a console. He installs a Desperado, which will give him money every time he does a run.
Desperate is right.
I don't know. It's Desperado. It's like a cowboy. It's because it's a criminal console. I'm checking his library or his discard pile to check what kind of stuff he can get out with a clone chip.
I think at this point he's essentially slammed the door, or you've slammed the door in his face.
He hasn't even knocked on the door yet. He is preparing. He's setting up his rig, and to be honest, that's a good strategy. If your rig is healthy and well doing, then you can get in anywhere with his identity. I am scoring finally something. I am scoring Project Atlas, and this is maybe the part where I would say I made a mistake, because apparently the server was doing well and was keeping him out, so I might have been able to score over advance Project Atlas. Project Atlas is one of those ices that you can advance more than the required time, and they give you additional benefits from that. So Project Atlas, if you've scored every advancement token over 3 that you have on it, when you score it, will give you like a token, and you can use this token to get cards from your library.
But I mean, it's hard because at this point he's ahead, so you want to get at least some points on the board.
Well, at this point he only has 1 breaker, which is against sentries. So it's just enough for me to have, I don't know, a barrier or a code gate as an ice there, and I would have been able to keep him out. I technically can use the clone chip to get out the self-modifying code to then install something. So he used, by the way, Dirty Laundry on my archives to get some monies. And I'm not being very consequent about measuring his clicks with my tokens. I remember it now. I remember it now. So maybe we should, I don't know, have we just explained bad publicity yet?
So, bad publicity.
He's charging up Katie Jones. Ah, yes.
Basically, so bad publicity gives him extra money to use every round, right?
Every run. At the beginning of every run, he gets as much money as I have bad publicity. And then that money goes away after the runs, but he is filthy rich during every run for every bad publicity I have. And that one bad publicity is not that bad, but it will accumulate over time. He played a very interesting card, which I had to look up because I'm not seeing it very often, but it's very cool. It's called Sharpshooter.
Sharpshooter.
Yes. And it's kind of like a weird icebreaker that is only against Destroyer Ice, which is kind of like a subtype. But Destroyer Ice usually destroys programs. So he has like an insurance against programs that destroy his stuff. Very annoying for me, because that's kind of my strategy. And I have like different kinds of ice, like Archer, for example, which is very famous, very aggressive ice that can like completely wreck the kind of programs the runner has installed. And now rezzing that ice doesn't even make sense because he has like an antidote against it. So I install something in my server and advance it once. kind of to give in a sign. Look, maybe there's something going on here. Maybe you want to make a run on this. And he does.
I like the flavor text on Archer.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's a reference to Archer, the show. So he makes him run on my server, and it's an ice wall. So what will he do? Did that stop him?
It looks like it's stopping him.
It stopped him, indeed. He gets out an Akamatsu mem chip, which gives him more memory. He could have used the clone chip to get out the self-modifying code to get out barrier breaker, but he chose not to. Alright, so I'm scoring something. Yes!
Yeah!
I'm scoring my own geothermal fracking.
Man, you guys are hacking the planet.
Oh, quick, fracking the planet. Indeed. Oh man, I kind of like playing Weyland because it's such an evil corporation. From all of the corporations that there are, Weyland is certainly the most evil, and like flat out evil, you know, like openly evil. Not like, oh, we're nice, but secretly they're evil. No, these are like, screw you, I'm gonna frack the planet.
You know, this is how, when I walked into the movie Prometheus, I knew that Weyland Industries was bad.
Yes, then they are, of course, I think it's a reference, actually open reference to Alien. So here's Archer, by the way. Here he discovered that one of my discarded cards was an Archer. I threw it away because I knew that I probably won't be able to use it anymore. Because the thing is, when you res Archer, you kind of have to discard an agenda, and I'm already behind with agendas. And he
was he reading the terms of service?
I think he's out of the danger zone due to his sharpshooter. Yes. Markus, what are you going to do? He finished. He just charged up Katie Jones, and it's my turn. I'm drawing a card. Mandatory draw. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with my 3 clicks in order to get...
In order to win the game!
Win the game! Well, he... Technically, let me see. He scored a geothermal fracking and false lead, so I'm ahead by this point. I'm at 4, he's at 3.
But we all know this is Netrunner, and things can change.
Things and this... War has changed, Nick. War has changed.
I would like to say the war has changed, but we all know... War never changes.
This is war in cyberspace. It's completely different. I install something in my server, and I install something else. Just like that.
There's much installing going on.
There's installing going. He discards an interesting card. I wonder why he hasn't played it.
What card is it?
It's feedback interface something... Not important for our game, so we're not going to discuss it.
Feedback implants. Whenever you break a subroutine on a piece of ice, you may pay 1 monies to break 1 additional subroutine on that ice.
Ah, yes. So he gets out his self-modifying code. He might have not used it before, because he was maybe missing the memory, maybe? Not really sure. But he gets out the self-modifying code. And so he can get into my server now by trashing the self-modifying code, paying 2 monies, and searching for an icebreaker from his library. And I'm still fascinated by the sharpshooter. I'm just reading this card all this time, like, what is this? Why are you so annoying, your card? So he gets out the beautiful corroder, the barrier breaker of everybody's choice, the best barrier breaker, actually one of the best icebreakers. There has been some discussions I heard recently that this card is actually like a bad design, like they make an accident designing the game.
What card again? Corroder?
Corroder, because it's so cheap and so effective. It's kind of hard to make a card that competes with it. And I don't even bother resing second ice, and he scores yet another false lead. Which brings us to we're both even now. We're both at 4 points, I think. Yes, we should be.
Now this game's starting to get tense.
Yes, Chris. And he already has 2 of 3 code breakers out, and the only thing that can stop him at this point are code gates.
I'm gonna guess you don't have any code gates.
I do have code gates, so I don't know if there are actually code gates out right now. But there are code gates in my deck. Money is being arranged in a beautiful pattern. Look at this.
I'm gonna throw out that monies is better than credits.
What?
You know?
What?
In reference to the monies.
You mean the term monies is better than the term credits?
Yes.
Hmm.
Empirically better.
Yes. Scientifically. He makes a run on the second card, and he discovers the Jackson Howard, and he pays monies to trash Jackson Howard. I actually thinking about using Jackson Howard, but there are not really cool cards in my discard pile that I really want to have. I'd rather have him spend the money at this point, because if he doesn't have any money, then I can also keep him out very quickly. I'm kind of trying to figure out ways of keeping him out of my servers. My goddamn servers!
But wait, wasn't that Jackson Howard there the entire time?
Yeah, no, I just installed it recently. For some reason, for this deck, I find Jackson Howard not as useful. Because
I haven't seen you actually use him at all.
I don't remember actually using Jackson Howard in all the games I played in recent tournaments, so yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing 2 cards. I guess I could have used Jackson Howard now to draw all those cards that I'm drawing right now. Maybe I should have done that. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not Jackson Howard's fault. I see there's an agenda on my hand, but scoring it now would be kind of tricky because he already got into a server. I'm guessing the second ice on a server I'm not willing to res at this point because it's maybe not keeping him out and maybe he can break it. I'm not sure why. Ah, yes, I'm throwing this ice away. See? It wasn't useful. I didn't want to... Maybe that's an archer. I'm installing something else. Mysterious ice being installed. Hopefully it will keep him out. And it is Markus's turn. Wow. Look at his rig. He has so many programs installed. Also, he applies a very fancy technique of putting the hardware in the front and the programs in the back. It is...
This is an advanced technique.
This is you know, it's like skateboarding when you have the goofy style and the regular style, and he's certainly Netrunner goofy style.
All I can think of now is Gangnam Style. I'm sorry.
Yes. So he gets even more programs out. Why not? Why not at this point?
It's weird. I mean, you guys are essentially have become these juggernauts who can accomplish nothing. This is like a metaphor for real life.
That's a nice criticism from you right there. He used the self-modifying code to get the final piece of his master rig. He's like Batman building his Batman cave, the Batman cave is complete. He has
check out all these dinosaurs, guys.
Well, the dinosaur is not, but he has a Guardian blade. So now he can get through code gates as well. So there's nothing that can stop him at this point.
Nothing can stop him.
If he has, of course, enough money to break all the stuff. But with the one bad publicity, it's just one bad publicity at this point. So it's not that bad. But it's still bad publicity.
Oh, did you just give him another one?
So I'm rezzing my dog.
What's up, dog?
And yes, it gave him another bad publicity because it's illicit ice. So when I res it, I have to give him bad publicity. So he has 2 bad publicities now. And it is Grim. And Grim trashes a program, but he uses data sucker tokens to bring Grim down. And then he breaks it with Mimic, which is obviously something he can do. He could have also used the sharpshooter, I guess, because I think Grim is a destroyer. He could have also... Well, I guess that was the only thing that he could have done. Yes, it is destroyer. So I don't res the second ice, and he has access to on the top card from my deck, from my R&D.
Oh, man. Is he going to run out of cards?
Oh, that might be it, but I think he still has a couple of cards in there. He hasn't been drawing too much. I will be playing in the future against enemies who actually ran out of cards. It will be glorious.
It's such a I mean, I used to play blue decks back in the day. No one enjoys playing against them.
Well, Netrunner is kind of all about this. So I'm making a small mistake there. Geothermal fracking is actually a very interesting agenda, which you can use it, you can click it to get money. Ah, yes, look at me, scoring agenda, out of hand, right there.
Nice.
Scoring a hostile takeover, he gets another bad publicity, so I get another bad publicity, but he can use it. And then I'm getting money for hostile takeover because it's so sweet. And the cool thing about geothermal fracking, which I talked about previously, is that it has basically built-in hostile takeover. I can click it and I get money and I get bad publicity. So he uses modded to get out an R&D interface. So every time he runs on R&D, he will see one more card, which is incredibly dangerous at this point because I haven't been able to keep him out of R&D on his last run, and so he makes a run. He has to break the dog again, the Grim. And so he spends more data sucker tokens and one bad publicity to do so, and I'm not raising a second ice. He has access to one card.
Is he gonna win? He didn't win!
Has access to second cards. He didn't win. It's okay. Whew.
Man, come on, you gotta win this. I want to see a Krystian win. That's what I want. If you're giving me a birthday present, that's what it better be. The sad thing is that we know that unless you have agendas in your hand, that you would have to spend 2 clicks in order to get to a new card.
Yes, that's the problem with the so-called R&D lock. When the enemy has access or the opponent has access to your cards from R&D, he can basically get out all the agendas, so you're not drawing any more agendas. And that's actually very, very deadly, and it's not really that I can do something against. I would have to install more ice. For some reason, I decided not to install more ice. I'm not sure why I did not install. I guess I'm thinking that he has all the breakers out, so he can get in anyway.
But you can just force him to constantly
Pay
spend
money.
all of his money.
Yeah, that was I think one big mistake. I kind of assumed that he would be able to get in, and so I didn't even bother installing ice. And that's you kind of have, even if you can break your ice, installing lots of ice can still help a lot because it taxes them. So yes, I'm trashing this one thing that I didn't rest. It is what was an archer, I think, and I'm installing more ice. Now,
Nice to meet you.
What killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
So yeah, I want to install it behind my dog, but sadly that's not possible because this is Netrunner. So I'm installing it in front of my dog.
I'm glad he called you on it. I wasn't going to say anything.
No, I think I noticed
Wow.
myself. I'm not really sure.
Krystian's cheating right now.
Yeah, see, I'm making mistakes all this time, and people always think I'm cheating, I think. Or I feel like I make mistakes and I feel double bad because I make a mistake, and then I think I feel bad because I think the people thinking I'm cheating, like I'm getting the wrong amount of money from my bank or something.
But I mean, that's half of the fun.
I know, everybody makes mistakes playing Netrunner. It's like,
But not everybody gets caught making mistakes.
it's even I to be honest, like, not getting caught making mistakes is a horrible feeling in Netrunner, especially if you watch those videos afterwards. It's like, oh no, I have too much money, that's why I won.
It's like walking out of the store with something that you didn't pay for.
Yeah, accidentally.
You have a moral conundrum then. You're like, do I say anything? No.
Did I bring it back? But then they will know that I was a thief. It's horrible. So he draws a card from my hand. He made a run on my hand. I didn't rest anything. Not really sure why I didn't rest anything. I guess I didn't have an agenda, so I didn't bother. And I do have a snare in my hand, so if he accesses the snare, that would hurt him a little bit.
Oh, I guess he does have more than a few cards left in his deck.
Yeah, come on, this is way too early for him to run out of cards at this point.
Who uses green anyway? I think that says a lot about this player.
I know. I think green is an excellent choice because he's a shaper.
Well, I guess if you're going for that route, yeah.
I would totally color code my shields. So not really sure what to do here. I'm kind of struggling at this point. I need to pump out one more agenda. I'm playing a very interesting card, which is Subliminal Messaging. Are you familiar with that one?
I am not familiar with it.
So Subliminal Messaging, what it does is, it's a new card, and it's a very complicated card. But it's basically, you play it, and it doesn't cost you a click. And when you play it, and when it's in your graveyard, in your discard pile, and the runner doesn't make a run in their turn, you get it back on your hand. And every time you play it, you get 1 credit. So basically, it's a very complicated way of you get a credit every time the runner doesn't make a run on their turn.
That's kind of neat.
It's very
neat. It forces them to spend money.
And, well, no, it forces them to make runs.
Or it forces them, yeah.
And if they don't make runs, then you will get money. So that's very good for this kind of deck where I'm kind of trying to be very quick.
Wear your opponent down.
Well, I'm doing 2 things at the same time. On one hand, I'm trying to force the runner to make runs early when they're not prepared, and then I'm punishing it by having all this ice that destroys stuff and does bad things. So this card is perfect for this because it's kind of like punishes the runner for not running, or rewards me for the runner not running. Anyway, so yeah, I think I have some agendas on my hand at this point, and I'm trying to figure out how to score them. And it's actually not really very possible because Markus has quite some money, so he can get in all of my servers with ease.
You gotta get a trace, you gotta start destroying stuff.
Man, I would love to. I think I have even a Scorched Earth on my hand, which would kill him, but yeah, getting him attack on him is not that easy. And also, he doesn't have a Plascrete out. Oh, he does have a Plascrete out. He actually played a Plascrete.
What does Plascrete do?
So Plascrete is a protection against Scorched Earth, against meat damage. And it's actually a card that everybody's running right now, because those Scorched Earth decks that try to kill the runner with meat damage are very popular at this point. For very good reasons. They just end the game very quickly if they work well. In my deck, from my deck, it's possible to do that, but it's actually not the main way of doing this. It's kind of like I always have the option to do this, but actually, I'm all about scoring. Actually, so
Get rid of some cards.
I'm getting rid of. Yeah, I drew a lot of cards at this point. I'm trying to get to the cards that might win me the game. Look at how many cards I'm discarding. Whoa. All right, Markus, do your worst. All right, he makes a run. He makes a run on my R&D. Very wise choice.
I'm trying to imagine his voice. Because I can't hear anything in these videos. So it's like, no!
No. Go. Yeah, he's like Markus from Gears of War.
Come on, no!
Sweet. Agendas. Nice.
You got shot in the chest? Knock it off. Walk it off, bro.
Walk it off, bro. Lock and loaded. Yes, so he encounters a Bastion, which he breaks, and then he encounters Enigma, which he also breaks. And then he encounters my dog, my Grim, which he also breaks. See, it's not... my eyes is not really stopping him, although that was quite taxing for him, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, he won't be able to do this very frequently.
Oh, good. He remembered that he...
I forgot that he is able to see 2 cards, so he does...
Forgot. In quotes.
Mm-hmm. Shut up, Nick. Shut up.
I'm on to you.
No. This is so horrible. But he saw that there was a Scorched Earth on top of my deck, so he knows that I'm on to him. So he makes a run on my hand, which might be a wise choice, actually.
Yeah, I mean, if he can't find agendas, it's just... This is sort of a meta question, but can you build a corporate deck without agendas?
No, you have kind of have to have a certain amount of agenda points in your deck.
Yeah, I thought so. It's been a while since I looked.
And he scores, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that the end?
Is it? Is it? I think it's not. I think it's not.
I guess he would.
He makes another run. He would still needs 1 point. One more point.
One more point.
That was a Project Atlas, 2 points, so he still needs one more. Oh man, this
has become the most tense game I think that we've seen yet.
It is a tense game indeed.
But it's weird. It's like it's not the same type of game that we've seen before, where it's like, I wish something would happen. Oh,
I'm scoring agenda out of hand. Yet another hostile takeover. Yet another 1 point. So we're both at match point at this point.
6.
And I said the word point a couple of times now. So I think we're both at 6. Yes.
But yeah, like there's stuff happening in this game. And I think the last game that we played, it was like, what's gonna happen? I hope something happens.
No, well, I don't know. I thought the last games were also. So he empties his Katie Jones. There was a little pile of money on Katie Jones, and Katie Jones delivered as always. Katie Jones. I would love to see maybe like a TV series about Katie Jones. That would be sweet.
Isn't that Veronica Mars?
It's cyberpunk, man. It's like Veronica Mars, but cyberpunk. And also, she's not a detective, but like a truck driver, hover truck driver.
Oh, okay. So, like, Veronica Mars meets
Han Solo.
Euro Trucker 2.
Basically, yes. So he makes another run on my R&D, very wise, because it worked so well previously. Clearly, I'm not keeping him out. And he has a pile of money to spend.
Oh, gosh.
And he will be able to see 2 cards, which is also excellent. This might be the end of the game. Is it the end of the game? It's not the end of the game.
It's not
at the end of the game. Oh, man, I'm sweating bullets right now. I can tell you.
Yeah, I'm sweating bullets right now, too. I need to change my shirt after this match.
So, my subliminal messaging not being quite effective because he's just running all over the place. A very, very frown town kind of situation for me. Maybe I would be able to win this if I had another hostile takeover. I don't think he scored one, so I think there is a third one in my deck. See, now if I had one token on Project Atlas, I could get hostile takeover from my deck and score it, and then I would win. But I haven't over-advanced it. I'm playing another subliminal messaging because the first one paid off so well.
No kidding. So does that mean that he has to make 2 runs each turn?
No, it just means that he... I get all of the subliminal messagings on my hand if he didn't make a run.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I wondered if he had to make 1 run per subliminal messaging.
No. They're but the thing is, I can only play 1 subliminal messaging per turn. So I'm not getting 1 credit for it, but I will get 1 credit every turn he doesn't make a run. Or wait a minute.
That's crazy.
It's complicated. This card has like such long text. It's such a long effect. It's just the thing is you get 1 credit if he doesn't make a run, and he has no possibility to trash it.
Yeah. I'm wondering if for each iteration of the card in game, does that mean that the runner has to make that many runs?
No. It's kind of a weird card because it's kind of like the text on a card is effective even if the card is in the graveyard. It's kind of like weird. I'm installing another ice on my advancement server, maybe hoping that it will keep him out. Probably not, but I'm doing it anyway. And he gets... Why does he get a bad publicity? So he makes a run on R&D. This might be the game-ending move.
Uh-oh.
He's getting through that server again. I'm not doing... Why did I do anything against him? I guess I should have installed some more ice there. In hindsight, you always hope that this was the last run they can afford. It's like, alright, he got through this one time. I didn't die. And he's a card. Nothing. He sees another card, and he scores, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man, I wanted to see a win.
Oh, man. Handshake. And yes, indeed, this was the first game from the round, and we will be back in a second with the second game where we come back. I thought it was a very nice one.
It was a very nice game. I liked it a lot.
I thought it was really exciting. Like we were both at 6 points, so it was like this match point kind of situation. Clearly, I'm losing with this deck in the long run. So he got his rig out very quickly. That was pretty sweet for him. All right, so here we are back with a second setup, with a second game from this round where we changed sides, and now I'm the runner and Markus is the corporation. So can you recognize the identities already, Nick?
You're playing Andromeda and he is playing NBN.
Yes. So what does Andromeda do?
Andromeda gives you 9 credits.
Mm-hmm.
And
that is wrong, Nick.
Or not 9 cards in your hand.
Yes, look at those cards. So many cards in my hand.
And NBN, you get 2 credits.
Yes, this is NBN Making News. This is NBN Making News, the standard NBA identity from the core set. And indeed, he has...
Oh, wait, which one is it? Is it the... Oh, it is the standard one. Use these credits during trace turns.
Making News.
There's also the NBN that increases your maximum hand size by 1.
Yeah, that's kind of like an interesting one. Yeah, so he will be able to make traces very easily.
So is this a what will come?
Let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens, all right? Yeah, Andromeda, I actually, the funny thing is I had some experience with this deck. It is actually a deck that was trying out a new card that just came out. But we won't be able to see this card in the deck. I'm just going to spoil it. It is. I was trying to make a deck that works with a new console that just came out, which is called Blackguard.
Blackguard.
Yeah. While I was testing this deck, I realized that I was rarely able to get out the console out because it's very expensive. And when I won, it was in all those cases where I didn't get it out and I was just playing Andromeda. So I eventually ended up just switching all the way through to Andromeda, to just playing a standard Andromeda deck.
I like that Blackguard is essentially Cerebro.
Oh yeah, it is a little bit like that. I never noticed. Yeah, it's like this huge helmet you put on your head. Yes, so he starts out with a hedge fund, which is a good way to start a game as a corporation.
I'm still wondering what the benefit is of multiple subliminal messagings. I guess I'm gonna have to read about it.
Yeah, it's complicated. It's kind of, it melts my brain also a little bit. I mean, and the worst thing about it is the artwork. It looks so ugly. Ugh.
It looks like a scene from Snatcher.
It's horrible. So yeah, he installs an ice in front of his R&D, and he installs a card in the middle of nowhere in a server.
Come get me, bro!
Not very wise, because as Andromeda, you kind of have to be afraid of an account siphon, and that's exactly what I'm doing. He didn't protect his HQ, so I can just account siphon him in the face. So I'm getting 10 credits, and he loses 5 credits, and I'm getting 2 tags. Very cool way of, especially such early on, it's very horrible for a corporation because it breaks the corporation. It slows the corporation down. And I'm playing a hedge fund. You know, as Andromeda, in your first turn, you kind of have to play 4 cards. If you don't play 4 cards in your first turn, then you will have to discard cards. And your advantage as Andromeda is to have more cards in your starting hand. So you're kind of like giving up your advantage if you're not playing 4 cards in your first turn. I'm making a Dirty Laundry run on... I wonder where. On his hand. And I score an escrow script from his hand. Yay!
Yeah.
First agenda.
Early victories.
2 points. And also getting an escrow script is really good because that's kind of like the strategy of NBN, of creating like this combo of, Astro Script and then using Astro Script, which is an agenda which has a token that lets you advance something more quickly. So using chaining those Astro Scripts together to this, people call it now the Astro Train. Choo choo. One Astro Script and then use this to advance another Astro Script and use this to another Astro Script. So you get 6 agenda points without the runner being able to run on them. And I'm installing daily casts, which will give me money over the next couple of turns. Slowly. And it is Markus's turn.
I'm sad you haven't won the game by now.
You just wait, Nick. You just
Come
wait.
on, man. You started with all those cards and you haven't just overrun him completely.
So the card that was there is surprisingly a breaking news, and he scores it for 1 point. Interestingly, he has still 1 click. Oh, he didn't use his click. Usually when you score breaking news, not out of hand, you can use the last click to kind of trash something, for example. Mm-hmm. So I'm playing an interesting card, which is called Snitch, which not many people play, and I'm playing it mainly because of this console I was testing, and I actually discovered it's a very good card. So what Snitch does is, once per run, you can choose an ice, and you can look at this ice before you approach it.
Oh, that's fun.
And then if you don't like it ice, you can just exit the run and nothing happens. So now I'm seeing that he has a toll booth there, and I know that he cannot res it, so I continue to run, and I score another agenda. Hey, breaking news. No, that was a market research for 2 points. And I'm doing one more run. I know he can't res the ice, and scoring it another agenda.
Yeah.
Yet another 2 points. And I'm doing it again.
I love that you're going through the Phantom Toll booth 400 times in a row.
Yeah. Well, the early count siphon really paid off here. Markus not really getting able to establish a good ice defense. He installed something in front of HQ now. That's good. But he still only has 2 monies. That's not enough. So he gets more. So he has 4 now. Still can't res the booth. But
yeah, he's in bad shape. Bad shape.
Not doing so well. And I just need 1 more agenda, and I will be through. And it's just starting. That was really bad luck with agendas piling on top of each other on R&D. So I make another run. And it is nothing.
I hope that you make a run on his hand as well.
Let's see about that. I'm not sure.
Ah, you are using the Snitch.
Yes. And it is a Data Raven, I think. I'm not really sure. Not really sure.
Uh-oh, there's a phantom hand up there.
Uh-oh, what does this hand want? The hand wants to get my agendas.
It's cousin it.
I need to score more agendas before the hands gets them. I like to think that this is Markus's hand. Going all around the table. So I'm getting out a Corroder to get through. And I just played it because I had it on my hand and I didn't want to discard him because my hand was full with 5 cards. Not a strategic play right now, just to get him out. Maybe also not very wise, because if I run into something dangerous, it will get trashed. Markus installs yet another ice. He's still very low on monies.
I don't understand. You would think that he would just res the ice that he has. He doesn't need more ice. He just needs ice. He
cannot. He can only res the ice if I actually approach it, and I'm using Snitch so I can jack out whenever there's dangerous ice. So he basically only reses ice if I decide to run against it. So I basically get to decide when I approach ice. So I'm making a run on R&D, and I score my final agenda, and he had some more agendas on his hand. He's very, very frustrated about this. This was a very, very short game. Bad luck for him. It's clearly bad luck for him.
You won.
So we discovered the secret of how to win at Netrunner. You have to be incredibly lucky. Period.
Well, I mean, for the runner, that's exactly what you should be doing. You just are super aggressive and get into his face and just make sure that you don't ever stop.
I must say that Markus did a small mistake there by not putting an ice in front of his HQ, because you kind of have to, especially when you're playing against a criminal player, you kind of have to expect an account siphon. So you really want to protect your HQ on your first turn. And so, yeah, that really really stopped his ability to res ice early on. And I think that enabled me lots of access to his stuff. But of course, there was lots of luck involved as well. So, yeah, that was a very short, nice game. And so that's it for today. This was the first round from this tournament. And we have another video from this tournament coming up. Hope you will join us when it's time. Until then, frag the planet!
Hike the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.
Ah, yes.
Shit on me.